Good morning, students. In the last class, we finished with the first chapter of world politics, that is Cold War, right? So today I'll be discussing with you the textbook questions. Now, apart from the objective questions, you have these six questions that are there. Let's just have a look where their answers are and how you need to write the answers here. Now, Cold War produced arms race and arms control. What were the reasons for these development? Arms race as well as arms control. Now, here you need to discuss about arms race first, how both the countries were involved in the arms race, and then how they jumped towards arms control and why did they do so. Okay. Your answers are given. I've mentioned the page numbers in every question, so please take reference from those page numbers to write your answers for that particular question. Now, for the first question over here, you will mention about Cuban Missile Crisis. How was that a display of arms race? Then you will mention about the US dropping of nuclear bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. How did that happen? Or you may mention US dropping of bombs first and then you come to Cuban Missile Crisis if you go year wise, right? Then your third will be you'll discuss about arms control. First of all, you'll mention about logic of deterrence. Why did the countries decided to not go for another war? And that was because of logic of deterrence. Now, what was logic of deterrence? Okay, then how they were expected to behave? They were expected to behave rational, responsible, and finally you'll mention about the treaties that actually decided on arms control. Okay, your NPT, your LTBT, then your anti-ballistic missile treaty, all these. Okay. Come to the next question. Why did the superpowers have military alliances with the smaller countries? Very easy question given in page number 7. It's already mentioned there in points. So better write it in a proper way as it is given in there. Now, next question. Sometimes it is said that the Cold War was a simple struggle for power and that ideology had nothing to do with it. Do you agree with this? Give one example to support your position. Now, here in this question, take reference from page number 3 and page number 7. So, here you will mention about the Cold War as, first of all, you must know that it started as an ideological conflict, but it ended up as a power struggle. Okay, or you may say that it continued as a power struggle. All right, so you'll mention here first about the Cold War that led to several shooting wars, but that did not lead to another world war. Okay, how did that happen? How can we say that there were several shooting wars? Then here, point number 2, you will mention about the various confrontations that took place in the arenas of the Cold War, such as Korean confrontation, Vietnam, Congo, Berlin, and you'll then say that but neither of the alliances, despite getting engaged in the confrontations, neither of the alliances they crossed their limits. Okay, and finally you will mention that though many lives have been lost in some of the areas in Korea, Vietnam and Afghanistan, but World War spread a nuclear war or the global hostilities. Okay, that is how that will be your power struggle and not properly the ideological struggle. Clear? Next question about India's foreign policy towards US and USSR. Do you think that policy helped India's interest? Of course, that did. But you first need to mention, go as the question is there. First part deals with India's foreign policy towards US and USSR during the Cold War era. So here you will mention about NAM. But how NAM and why NAM? So you will mention about how India decided on staying away from the alliances. It raised voice against the newly decolonized countries who were becoming part of the alliances. And then India did try to reduce the differences, the rivalries between the superpowers. And finally, you will mention about NAM. NAM was brought in, it was formulated by 5 important leaders of different countries. Okay, and then you will discuss about the India's interests. What were India's interests? Key points will be international decisions. Number 2 will be balance between the two superpowers, and third will be neither of the alliances could take India for granted, because even India was important at that point of time. Okay? Now, your next question is about NAM was considered a third option by the third world countries. How did this option benefit their growth during the peak of the Cold War? So here you will mention about the newly independent countries of Asia, Africa and Latin America. They got an option. Getting an option is your first point here. Then second will be your least developed countries. The points there where you will write about least developed countries. They did not want it to remain dependent on the developed countries. Third, NIEO, New International Economic Order. Why did it came? Why did it come? Sorry. Then you will mention about UNCTAD. Then what were the reports that was of UNCTAD? What did it mention? All those 4 points about natural resources, about technology, about LDCs getting a better role in the international economic institution. All these you need to mention in this part. All right. Let's come to your last question. What do you think about the statement that NAM has become irrelevant today? Give reasons to support your answer. Now this is basically an analytical question, as your question number 8, as your question number 7. Okay, so here you will basically write first about the origin of NAM. What purpose did NAM come for? Okay, and then you will mention about the various initiatives of NIEO, but NIEO failed and therefore NAM got a relevance. NAM emerged as an international movement and as a core of India's foreign policy, but still it did lose its relevance. How? Because it involved itself, India especially involved in itself in reducing the tensions, or in one way or the other it did take help from US and USSR. It did sign a treaty of friendship with USSR, right? But again, you'll conclude with points like, though non-alignment contained some core values and enduring ideas, it was based on a recognition that decolonized states share a historical affiliation and can become powerful force if they come together. And then you will conclude that NAM has not actually lost its relevance. It has stood the test of different circumstances and has been serving an important purpose of protecting and preserving the interest of the third world country. So that is how you need to be bit critical also in the beginning, and at last you need to conclude it with a positive outlook. Now this question's answer about NAM's relevance, and this question I've also given you in the last part of your book, same question. So you may club those questions together and you may write it is one question. That is it. That's also fine. Do an or with those questions and write. But about this question, I will give you the answer. I will write it in a PDF form and I'll send you so that it becomes easier for you to know how to write such analytical answers. Okay. It will be very much from your book, completely from your book rather, but how to go sequentially, how to frame those answers, you will get a sense of it. Okay. Cold War as both power struggle and an ideological conflict. Explain. Okay, you've already seen the same question here, question number 7, but it is asking you to choose between it, power struggle or an ideological struggle. So here you will discuss about both power struggle and an ideological conflict, so that you can have a sense of both of the genres of the answers. Okay. If it comes at ideological conflict, you'll be able to answer. If it comes at power struggle, you should be able to answer that. Right? So both of these questions, what do you think about NAM and about Cold War as a power struggle and ideological conflict? You will write the answer, but yes, I will frame an answer and give it to you in order to make it more easier for you. Right? After this, in the following chapters, in the coming chapters, you will be writing such analytical answers on your own, because their answers will be very much from your book. Okay? Alright, so that is it for your textbook questions. Now do these textbook questions or just mark it in your book. Then your exercise questions, then your questions from your book that I have given you must be written in your notebook. Okay, and that is it for today. I believe the questions are done. Your first chapter is hence over completely, with no bits and pieces left anywhere. You have your chapters done, maps done, cartoons done, your textbook questions done. Okay, so it's fully completed. In the next class, we will be starting with Indian politics, first chapter. Okay, so till here, if you face any problem, please let me know. Okay, do your questions well, and that's it. All right, thank you, students.